All right, guys, welcome to the Crest Core Real Estate Hour. I am your host, Dean Harris. I am here today with Mr. Douglas Skipworth. He is our CEO, owner of our company. We're happy to have him in with us. I'm going to talk just for a second. We're going to, in 2 weeks on our next show, we're going to interview Douglas. We're going to ask you all kinds of questions about your background and what brought you into real estate, what brought you here as the founder of Crest Core Realty, and you guys can get to know him a lot better in 2 weeks. As you know, we've over the years, Dan's been on. You guys got to know him, but now it's time for Douglas. We're gonna really dive into who you are, kind of how you got started, and just talk about some things like that. So you guys can get to know Douglas a little bit better. If you guys have any emails or any questions you want, email me, dean@crestcore.com. The website is www.crestcorerealty.com. You can go to that anytime and see our available properties. So today, you can also catch this podcast on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, any place where you find a podcast. It'll be posted on there shortly after. So today is part 3, our final part of the zip code breakdown. Yep. It's our most popular show that we send out. We have more requests to view this or to have this sent to them than anything else. So let's dive right into it.
Come on.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. We're going to start. I'm going to start at the bottom of this page. Okay. So we're a little bit different. We're going to start with Germantown, Tennessee. Okay. This is a suburban area. I went to high school in Germantown, Germantown High School. I kind of grew up out in that vicinity, or spent my high school days out in that vicinity. So, higher end real estate. Way more owner occupants than tenants, but that's beginning to shift a little. There are some higher end properties there. So let me give you some of the numbers. In Germantown East, there's 2 zip codes, 38138 and 38139. I'm gonna give you 39 first. Let's see. January 21 through July 31st, there have been 225 sales. 3,897 was the average square feet, and the average sales price was $580,000. You're not going to find a ton of rentals here. Great residential place, great place to live, but you're not going to find a ton of rentals. You could find some corporate short-term rentals there, but that's going to be about it. If you find anything and the numbers make sense from an area standpoint, we're good with that.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. There are people who are looking for medical residents, people who are here. FedEx is a IP, international paper. There are a lot of bigger companies who have executives come in for a year. Yep. So they might, or a transition here, and they want to rent for a year while they find their house or more permanent place. So it works if you can find it. If you can find it. And there's some townhouses and condos that, again, if you can find it, Awesome. Yeah. And that's 3. So we'll move on through it. 139. Great area. Great area. If you can find anything fantastic, I will always say plus. If the numbers work for you,
great.
It works.
Yeah. 38138 Germantown. We had 317 sales. 2,800 was the average square feet, and the average sales price was $386,000. You'll probably find a few more in 38138. It's the older portion, the more traditional, side of Germantown. Oakley subdivision is there. A lot of people are redoing their homes in Oakley. Back when I was in high school, 94, 95, 96, Oakley was a brand new subdivision.
Yeah.
A brand new subdivision. It was where you wanted to be in Germantown.
Yep.
Now a lot of those homes are dated. They're kind of redoing them, refurbishing them. So if you find anything in that Germantown area, either one, if you can make it work, great.
Make it work.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, we're going to move to Bartlett. Let's go to Bartlett. Yeah. We've got 3 zip codes in Bartlett. This, truthfully, is one of my favorite areas to be in.
It's a sweet spot.
It is an extremely sweet spot. I'm going to give you all 3 zip codes. So there's 3. 38133, 38134, and 38135 that are in Bartlett. So here we go. In 38135, there have been 433 sales. 2,100 is the average square feet, and our average sales price is $249. You can make some things work in 38135. That average sales price, that means there's some 200s and some 210s in that area that are bringing that price right there. Do we manage to, from a management standpoint, what do we have there?
Handful. But in all these Bartlett areas, you are going to be I don't know if there's anything below $1,000 rental price.
No, I wouldn't think so.
You know, looking at these numbers, 1,500, 1,700, 1,200, 1,400. So
I have two. and they're both
3,200.
1200s.
That's a little office building. So we manage some office out there.
Yeah.
Small office and
The two that I have in Bartlett are $1,200 rentals.
yes.
They don't have single family attached homes. So if we find some of those, I mean, those rent the 3.2s, 1,400. They rent really well.
Yeah.
So 3.135 is great.
There's a little sliver of, is it 134 that's in the city of Memphis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not in the city of Bartlett. So you can kind of
be
piggyback
careful.
on the edge
Yeah. Without those taxes.
without those taxes.
38134 Bartlett, guys. Really close. This was the first Bartlett zip code.
Yep.
So when Bartlett developed, this was the only zip code that they had, and then when it grew, they developed into 38133 and 35. So you're going to get a little bit older homes here, and you're about to see some of the price difference. So from January 1 to July 31st this year, 379 sales, 1,700 is the average square feet, and the average sales price is 175. If you get anything there in the 175 range, buy it. 150 to 175. The rent's going to match up. If it's in good condition, I say move. Move on that
Are you seeing 1% rule?
1% rule is probably where you want to be at. And I'm even seeing some investors make sense of
A little less.
A little less.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
1,700, 1,800 for a $200,000 house,
yes.
$210,000 house. That's going to be mailbox money.
but kind of plus or minus rule of thumb is 1% for Bartlett.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if you buy something that's less, maybe it's a good condition.
Yeah. And it's an appreciating market.
You will see. I was just about to say that. You will definitely see some appreciation in the Bartlett market.
Yes.
So that's great. Let's move to 38133 Bartlett. Let's see, 206. So from January 1 to July 31st this year, 263 sales, 1,892 square feet. So 1,900 is your average. And then 228, 887 is your average sales price. It makes total sense.
A little higher. Yep.
So, I mean, you can even see 38134 was first. 38133 came next. And you see the price jump of about 50 grand. And then 38135, it jumps another 50 grand. So you can see the developing subdivisions, the prices have just gone up as they've moved. But the schools in Bartlett are great. I don't think you'll have any issues with any of Bartlett.
In property management, Credit Score Property Management, they have a bigger concentration of 38134 because, as you mentioned, that's where the opportunities are for investors.
In 134.
Have been in 134.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to live in
33 and 35. Yeah.
Yeah. My family lived in 134 for up until, I don't know, 10th, 11th grade. So yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the area. It's a great little suburban community. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go to Raleigh.
Oh,
one of my favorite locations.
Great
38128. Lots of good stuff going on in Raleigh. Let me give you these stats, and then we'll talk about Raleigh. From Jan 1 to July 31, 497 sales.
Wow.
That's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
1,400 square feet is the average sales price, and 98,875 is the average sales price. That was average square feet. Average sales price is 98,875.
100
grand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things in Bartlett. In Raleigh, what comes to your mind is something that's positive in Raleigh?
Oh, I mean, it's a solid area. It's close to Bartlett. It's convenient to town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stability to it. The city just tore down Raleigh Springs Mall, built the city center, whatever they put over there. And so lots of great things.
You've got a 400,000 square foot Nike plant and a 700,000 square foot Amazon plant that are right beside each other that are driving jobs.
For sure.
Driving tons. Like if you go up Overton Crossing around 3:30 when shift changes, it's a madhouse. I mean, it's a madhouse right at that intersection where those plants are. So I tell you all that because that means there's jobs. And if you're receiving property from me on every 3812 house, you're seeing me write the note, Nike and Amazon plants. It's really driving jobs up there. I mean, like
huge.
Big time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
over
really
the past,
that's
probably been within the last 10 years, and definitely in the last 5 years, they've put even more emphasis on all that.
So Nike was there
Nike
first.
started,
And then Amazon
probably
came right
10 years
behind
ago, and then Nike did a little addition, and then Amazon came. A huge addition. You're talking hundreds of thousands of square feet.
Man. Distribution. Nike, Amazon.
Yes.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it's awesome. I love it that they're investing in our city.
And Raleigh, I believe, so let me give you a little history on Raleigh. When the city was developing in the 60s, Fraser was one of the first suburbs
Yep.
of the city. And then one of the second ones was Raleigh.
Yes.
So you had some development in Midtown and going out. But if you, in the 60s, if you said, hey, we're going to move out to the burbs, that was 127. And then in the 70s, it kind of turned into 128 in that development. Rock and Raleigh, man. You can see, and you'll be able to see that like the homes are brick mainly.
Oh, yeah.
At least 3 bedrooms. There's not a whole lot of 2-1s in Raleigh. So they were
family
made for
homes.
family homes.
Yep,
so there's 3 and 4 bedroom homes out there. So
Yeah,
if you can find something that makes sense, I think it's solid as a rock.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing I wouldn't look at right now in Raleigh unless it's overpriced or terrible condition. Anything else I'd take a look at and try to make the numbers
But
work.
as far as location, it's great.
5 minutes from Highway 240.
Yep.
You can get anywhere in the city in 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm super high on Raleigh. 38128.
Yeah. And Chris Core Property Management managing dozens and dozens of property over there.
I've got 4 or 5 in Raleigh.
Yeah, because it's a great investor market for family
solid.
homes and just any rental house.
I mean, so rate that. Maybe we should have been rating these. Like in your zip codes, where do you have 38128? Like for the price point, the $100,000 price point, probably the best. What would you put up against Whitehaven? 115.
Yeah, I mean it is pound for pound.
It's probably the best.
It's probably the best.
So for the $100,000 range, if that's where you're at, I'm targeting Raleigh. Maybe 116 next or 115. But I don't. Yeah, I think you're getting your money's worth in Raleigh.
Yeah, because as we know, there's been some appreciation up there.
Man, yeah.
I mean, a ton, right? A ton, but I think there's still more to come.
25%.
Yeah,
it's gone up in the last 12 months.
Yeah. And most investors didn't plan for appreciation. I know this one didn't.
I didn't.
No. And run your numbers as if the appreciation ain't coming, and it's just kind of it's gravy.
Do you remember when we used to preach on no appreciation here?
Yes.
I used to preach to investors, hey, if it's cash flow, we're king. But if there's appreciation you're looking for, this isn't your market.
Yep.
Now we're both.
Yeah. And I don't know what the future looks like, but I definitely know that I don't want to say we were foolish, but by not taking that into consideration, we missed opportunities.
Big time.
Big time.
We did.
Yes.
I never bought in any location thinking, wow, this is going to
double
20% more or double
over the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. No. And that if you had seen the appreciation that was coming,
you'd have bought up and
you
really
could have
planned.
Made a killing, a fortune,
And look, some
guys big fortune. People made a small fortune. These people could have made a big fortune.
And there's guys coming to me now. Yeah. And if you're listening and you're one of our investors and you're thinking about selling, now is the time. I'm having guys come to me in these Raleigh areas that bought them for $35,000 15 years ago, and they're now wanting to kind of move out of them. So if you're one of those guys listening, we'll be happy to help you with that. Okay. 38127, one of our more popular zip codes from a transaction standpoint. 38127 is considered Fraser. From January 1 to July 31st, we've had 642 sales. I knew that would be probably our highest, almost our highest. Yep. 1,200 is the average square feet, a little smaller home, and the average sales price is $60,344.
Yep.
So that has moved up dramatically.
It has.
And I'm still, this is one of my biggest kind of, prefaces I give with 38127. I'm still saying you have to be east of Highway 51. I still don't believe enough in the Western market of Highway 51 to advise an investor to go buy. If you have something there to sell, we can get rid of it and sell. It is improving.
Yeah.
But North Haven, which is a little farther north that's west of 51, has just historically been tough to
It's been challenging
manage.
because of all of the reasons, location primarily being the number one. It's far from everything. Commercialization of
and it's
just
the river.
Residential. It's a river. It's nothing out there. There are people who are trying to do things in there, so it's interesting to watch. Am I personally getting anything in there?
No. Yeah, I'm not.
No. Have I liquidated and traded stuff out of there? Absolutely. Yeah.
So if that tells you anything, there's where it's at. I used to say, you'll never make it work. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Stay away. So
yeah.
Now I am more like, hey, if you're attentive and you're on top of it, you can maybe make it work. I think you do need a boots on the ground person that's going to literally walk the area and stay in the area.
Dean, and I know we've talked about this before, and the listeners probably get tired of me saying this, but it's like when I look at this stuff, I'm like, it's just opportunity cost. It's like, be sure you could pick something up there, but like there's so many other opportunities of places you'd rather be.
Right.
So if you're gonna,
and then when you hear that, it's like, you're right.
Yeah.
Why am I going to force
lost
this
on this
to make
one?
this work?
I'm not stepping back and looking at the big picture. I'm getting caught in the moment, thinking, oh, it looks great on paper. Or this is the one. Just be patient. Find the deal.
We'll find something else.
We'll find something else.
Yeah.
They're just better. There are other places that could work just better.
As well or way better.
As well or way better.
Yeah.
Well said.
I'm still thinking of that. That's still my opinion on Fraser. So anything east now, I think, and the closer you get to Raleigh, the better. But anything east of 51 up there, brick, 3-bedroom, I think you're in business. I mean, there's a pocket right there that has a lot of 2 bedrooms. But if you'll get off that pocket, get into a 3-bedroom brick home over there on that eastern side of 51, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have 2.
And there's a lot happening. Investors are purchasing, owner occupants are purchasing.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, the Nike, Amazon are right on the edge of Raleigh, Fraser.
Yep.
So it kind of separates or brings them together. So you've got all types of employment opportunities
right there
now.
together. That's right. Fraser, great market. So I'm still positive on that as long as you're east of 51. So good job, Fraser. Okay, let's go to a couple of higher end real quick, and then we're going to go to Cordova and Arlington and wrap it up. 38120 is called River Oaks. Typically, it's higher end real estate, residential locations, homes that were built in the 70s and 80s. Is that right?
Yeah. And newer.
And there's been a whole lot of, we'll buy this and add on to it. You can raise your family in this area. It is super desirable if you want to live in the city. So in other words, if you guys have looked at the map, we've got Highway 240. We call it the loop. It goes all the way around our city. If you want to live inside the loop, this is probably one of the most desirable locations, this area. Walnut Grove, kind of goes, I think, is that in the middle of it? Right towards the middle
and Poplar
of it.
too on the other side.
And Poplar goes through it. So let's give you some numbers on 38120. 200 from January 1 to July 31st, 229 sales, 2,600 is the average square feet.
Big houses.
404,000 is our average sales price, which makes sense.
Big and expensive.
Big and expensive houses. Maybe not be the best cash flowing. Could be a flip opportunity if we find.
Oh
those.
Man, awesome flip opportunity for investors who are selling to owner occupants.
Yeah, and
there are a couple of little pockets in there where it's more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's great talking about flips. I mean, because there's some pockets over there by White Station Middle School, Richland Elementary School.
Yes.
Have a rental over there. It's $1,200. There's nice smaller homes, but for the most part, it's hard to find good rentals in that area.
People flock to that Richland Elementary.
Yeah, it's a great it's a rental market because people want to be in that school district.
Rich Road
is
right there.
Yes.
Melita,
Marlboro,
a lot of those.
Dermot.
Yeah, those houses over there are super desirable.
Yeah, if you can get that people want to rent those houses and be in that school district, elementary and middle school and high school for
for those. All right, 38120, great. All right, 38119, Quince Ridgeway location. I love this
Slam
area.
dunk.
Slam dunk. I love this market over here. I've got a couple there now. I'm constantly looking. They're getting higher in price, but slam dunk location near everything.
Near everything.
I mean, the Ridgeway Park. So there's two roads that run east and west, Poplar and Park, and then Ridgeway runs north and south right through them. That intersection right there, you could live there and never leave. Groceries.
You could do everything. Yes.
Restaurants, shopping.
Work, commercial, you name it. There's schools.
Businesses. There's corporate buildings over there.
Corporate
headquarters, that sort of thing. So the 38119 zip code's great. Let me give you some stats on it. From Jan 1 to July 31, 324 sales, 2,200 square feet, 259,000 your average sales price. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And there's some opportunities over there.
Big time opportunities.
There's some opportunities.
I'm flipping one
definitely flips.
Yes.
Maybe some rental. If you could hold a rental, you're going to get appreciation. You're going to get strong
Premium number.
tenants. Yeah, it'd be great. Great place to flip.
Yeah, 38119 is awesome. Good private schools there. Hutchinson, MUS.
Yeah.
Ridgeway High School is actually not a bad school.
Oh yeah,
that's a city school, but it's not a bad school. People do go there. So, 38119 is great. Rental market average rent, you're probably going to be in the $1,200 to $2,000 range.
$1,500.
Yeah, depending on how big the house is, you're going to be in that rental range there. So, let's move on. 38119. We'll go to 38103. That's downtown. I don't know about you, but I don't preach a whole lot of downtown rentals. If you told me you could find a condo down there with no HOA, I don't know that you could even find that. But if it's an affordable HOA,
I mean, if
maybe.
you're listening to this and you want to Airbnb potentially, because you got some stuff that happens down there with Beale Street and the activity in downtown, but there's not a lot of opportunity.
No, not downtown. Not that
there isn't any. It's just not a lot.
That's right. There's more owner. There's just way more owner occs. If you're renting, I think you're renting a condo in a building, and they're all rentals. You know what I mean? Yes. I think there's way more corporate type rentals, or hey, I'm going to buy this building. There's going to be 20 floors. It's going to be a $25 million building, and you know what I mean? And there's going to be 100 residences in this building. There's the rental market downtown.
Yes.
If you find a single family home, the Airbnb is probably the way to go. I don't know anybody that just comes in, maybe from a property management standpoint, you can correct me. Is there anybody that's like, hey, I want a single family residence downtown?
Somebody might want to, in a condo downtown.
Yeah.
People who are working downtown, it's just hard.
It's hard.
There's just not a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Go visit Beale Street and eat you some barbecue, but not a whole lot of rental options down there.
No, and they're apartments. If you want to live in an apartment, it's harder to find.
Right. All right. We got a couple more here. 4 more. We're going to go to Cordova. We've got 2 zip codes in Cordova. Now, this is the,
if you wanted to narrow it down into this, that is the epicenter.
Cordova is the epicenter. So let me give you a little history on Cordova. When the city, so this was in the 90s. Early 90s, Cordova began to grow. I tell this on every time we do this episode, but when I was a kid, we used to drive up Stage Road, which is Highway 64 heading east, and we would take a right onto Germantown Parkway.
That's where it says turn off the gravel road.
At the time, no kidding, it was a 4-lane, like a 2-lane intersection with a blinking red light.
Yes.
It's a zoo now.
Yes.
We would take a right on Germantown Parkway. It was a 2-lane road until you got all the way to Humphreys in Germantown. You might see a gas station laid on there on the side of the road. Now,
bumper to bumper.
It's you come to 64 and take a right on Germantown. That's a 7-lane intersection with a turn lane in the middle. The 7 lanes goes all the way through Germantown now. I think it comes all the way to Poplar, Humphreys, and then it comes all the way to Poplar, and then at Poplar it stops to go back that. So that you can find any restaurant, any store, anything on Germantown Parkway.
You go from Costco to Apple Store down that strip from where you started to where you end.
Fast food to high-end restaurants. Everything that you can imagine is on Germantown Parkway. Yes. The traffic is a nightmare at 5 o'clock. That's just it just is. I bought my first residential home in Cordova in 2001. It was a 3-2, 1,500 square foot home with a 2-car garage. There are thousands and thousands of those in Cordova. They rent for $1,200 to $1,500. And there are, thousands of them. Let me give you some numbers real quick, and then it'll kind of probably back that up. 38016. There's 2 zip codes. 38016 is the first one. This is Cordova North. Mm-hmm. From Jan 1 to July 31st, we've had 654 sales, 2,100 square feet's the average, and the average sales price is $248,000. So that's the higher end section of Cordova. Yeah. That do you remember this? So that section, Sanga, and out that way, that was wow, you live out there, man, you have made it, bro. right?
Yeah.
I mean, those were the three. You lived out in the county. I'm like, whoa, they live way out. But that's the man. They must be doing really well, because that was the, hey, we're going to go way out and beat the crowd out into this area. So Cordova and that area, that Sanga and New Brunswick and going out that area, that's this higher end area. I think if you can find something there, you can find flips, you can find rentals. I mean, the 250 range, you're probably going to get anywhere from 1,800 to 2,200 for those.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you find there that works, great. You can flip over there, and I think it's fantastic.
Yes, for sure.
38018.
018.
Cordova South.
Mm-hmm.
You own anything there? You own anything in Cordova? One?
I'm glad you asked. I've always wanted to own a Cordova.
Yeah.
And I didn't plan for appreciation. I didn't plan for all this stuff. And so I was my pencil, the numbers, I couldn't make them work, or just was too cautious and just missed the opportunity.
I did too. I don't have any.
Missed the opportunity. Maybe I got one or two, but not the 200 I should have.
Yeah.
The thousands that American Home for Rent, Progress, other big
hedge funds. So that's the big key here. And you just said I was going to bring that up at the end. So hedge funds buying Cordova a lot. That should tell you that the research has been done by these huge companies, that's the market they want to be in and go to.
Yes.
There's a reason behind that. The homes are newer. There's 2-car garages. They're brick. I mean, this is just a solid long-term investment.
It's where people want to, and it's where people want to live.
Because there's everything in the world out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Safe.
It's it's a good, solid location.
Solid market.
And it's the epicenter for Memphis of where these big investors have come. And
you have a range of first-time home buyers out there.
Yeah.
To people that are retiring out there in that Sanga, land area out there. So
it's still nice. I mean, it's
still
a nice, great area.
And 38018, it's about the same. So 38018, guys, sales 569. Again, 2,100 same square feet, and 260,000 is our
same
average.
Price.
So just about the same price, a little more.
Yep.
Great schools. You can get anywhere in the city again in about 15 minutes from Cordova. Access to Highway 40 to get you up north and south. So anything that you find in Cordova, I'm for. I believe you would say, if you can make the numbers work and you can either flip it or keep it, anything.
I would say embrace it and hold it and pet it and love it, man, because that is a great rental.
Yeah, I think we'll probably keep appreciating.
We'll keep appreciating
for
the foreseeable future.
All right, we've got one last area, Arlington, Tennessee. Arlington 20 years ago was a 4-way stop and a country store.
It reminded me of the story you were telling about Cordova.
It's very similar to Cordova.
It's what, 20 years behind, 15
20 years behind. The home prices, I believe, we're going to show that they're higher. They're going to show that they're higher. Let me give you those numbers. Jan 1 to July 31st, 674 sales. Man, that's a ton for an area that 20 years ago that you might have 5. 674 sales, 2,500 is the average square feet, and 352,000 is your average sales price.
It's the way you described people moving out to Sanga.
Yeah, same thing.
20 years ago, same thing. It's like, oh, you live out in Arlington.
Arlington High School is a great school.
Great school.
Highway 40 runs right through it.
I-40 does. 385 came around that takes you all the way from Millington in South Tipton County, all the way down through Collierville, all the way back to through Olive Branch and I-55 to I-55. So it has become a very desirable place for people to be.
So it's funny you're telling me this little backstory. Arlington, great schools too. Arlington High School is a great school. My first real estate job for 4 months, my first one, was for a home builder, and they had another busy subdivision coming up in 125 for me, but it wasn't ready yet. So they were like,
hey, we'll send him out to the
we're going to
sticks.
put you out here in Arlington. And I went out there, and at the time I was sitting in this neighborhood, Douglas.
Couldn't sell it. Couldn't give it away.
I'd go 3 or 4 days without seeing anyone.
I believe it.
And
that's
then,
20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago. Actually, this year it was 20 years ago. So
now you'd kill for that job.
Now, if you had 100 lots in a new construction home builder, you aren't selling anything. You're taking orders.
Yes, you're taking orders.
You're taking orders. And when I moved from that area to 125, it turned into taking orders. But Arlington has changed so much in 20 years. The desirability of it is sky high. And I believe that 385 thing helped. The loop
no
from
doubt
Highway
about it.
385.
And the stuff they're doing out there now on I-40, I mean, it's great. It's a redeveloped the old, what was that place? Old Time Pottery, or whatever, you know, redeveloping all that, the Bells family. And so it's a very desirable. We manage property management, manages some of that. I got one out there, always been 1,000 plus. So $1,500 rentals. And, you know, if you can find something, it's a great area to be. If you can flip something, it's a nice
even
flip
better.
area. Yeah.
Yeah. The schools keep families going out there, though. Arlington High School is a great school.
Yes.
People
And
want
it's
to go out
become more convenient because of the infrastructure that's been put in place.
Okay,
Roads
so we've done our zip codes. What are you wrapping this kind of 3-part series up? Like, what's your takeaway? You know, because this is all information that we live and breathe every day. But I don't believe, like, until you sit down and read these numbers and you look at these numbers, what's your takeaway from our zip code challenge, our breakdown? Like, is there what stuck out to you the most about it?
I don't say what sticks out. I wouldn't say I'm surprised because we're in touch, but just how much activity, how much appreciation has happened, how competitive. And we talked early about supply and demand. Yeah, there is a demand and there's a limited supply, and it has driven up prices for rents. Yeah, for property values, for flippers. So I mean, it's been. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't think it's changing drastically. No. So there's still opportunity.
Plenty.
Yes.
We're closing, I think 26, 24 this month. I mean, so there's still
people are buying and selling.
They're able to make these work. I mean, I'm giving you these average sales prices. I mean, that, you know, there's obviously things that are cheaper than these in these areas. So I mean, I just think some steady research, patience will find
looking
you the right
for
property
opportunities. Don't swing at the first pitch.
Yeah,
you know, take a couple pitches and take a couple looks
and see what's being thrown at you. See what we're able to offer.
Do some scouting. Watch the video. See what's coming. You know, and then get up there and take a swing.
I agree. I think that's a great analogy. Is just be patient. Get in the plate. You know, if you're we love sports analogies. So I mean, get up to the batter's box and just let a few come by, you know, join our, you know, get into our CrestCore buyer profile program where I'm sending you properties and look at them for 3 months. There's no effort or cost or anything to get on that list. No. Just call me and say, or email me and say, hey, this is what I want to look at. This is what I think I want. Send me what's there so I can start analyzing deals. We have no problem with that. There's no pressure. There's no, hey, you haven't bought anything yet type of phone call coming from me. You're going to have to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sending you assets and property options. So that was my takeaway. I wasn't really surprised at these numbers, but I was happy at the consistency that they're showing, which is, you know, just a steady growth. 2 years ago we hit a spike, but I think now it's a steady growth. I do think our pricing is beginning to plateau. Yeah. I don't know how much higher we can get.
It's not going up as rapidly.
No. And I've been wrong about that. You know, I mean, I've been wrong about that. The only thing I do know is what we can offer you today, you know, what we're trying to bring. So,
and another thing I'd say is it definitely it reaffirmed my bullishness and being excited about investing in Memphis.
Big time.
You know, like this is validating what we do day in and day out and helping people buy houses, help people flip houses, help people put renters in there. Yeah, it's the place to be. I mean,
I agree.
We've known that and seen it, but it just kind of screamed at that from the page.
Absolutely. So those numbers told us that this is the place to be.
Yes.
That's kind of, there you go. That's the wrap up that I'll look at it, or that I'll say is these numbers told us Memphis is a place to invest and a place to be in. You and I are going to continue to buy. So
absolutely.
Yeah. We really encourage you guys. If you have any questions, email me, dean@crestcore.com. Check out the website, www.crestcorerealty.com. And then you can check the podcast out, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere that you get your podcast. So appreciate you guys listening. 2 weeks, man. You're on the hot seat.
Skeletons.
Skeletons in my closet. We're going to interview Douglas in 2 weeks, get to know him a little bit better, and we'll see you then.